This episode is brought to you by Starry. When you drink Starry Lemon Lime Soda, every sip is a win. Perfect for game time or anytime. It's a crisp, refreshing lemon lime soda that's caffeine-free and bursting with flavor that makes you go, ah. Starry hits different. Find it in stores or online today.
This episode is brought to you by Tinder. Cuffing season is in full effect, which makes Tinder the place to be right now. There's a new wave of folks coming back to the app, ready to find love, fun, or just a new friend. And if you're worried about never meeting up with your matches IRL, don't be. 1.5 million Tinder users go on dates in person every week. Explore all of the possibilities for yourself. Tinder. It starts with a swipe. Download Tinder today.
Bum 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 bum. I'm waiting for you to do the banana.
Oh, sorry. Da-na-na.
Forget it.
Hello. Welcome to Unequal Sequel.
Extra.
It's Friday. It's that day that we just talk about sequels and everything about sequels that we love.
Yeah.
Could you feel the passion, Rich?
I did feel the passion. I was just going to say, be careful, because this podcast will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
You know what? You're a genius. I feel like I've missed a trick there.
Should have done it at the end, shouldn't I?
You can do it again. You can do it again. Do you want to tell the people what we're doing then? Go
We
straight
are
into it.
doing Mission Impossible movie ranking.
Special. This is because Rich had never seen them apparently before.
No, I have. I saw the first one in the cinema when I was 15, and I didn't like it, and I've never watched any until this week.
And you blitzed them all, right?
I've watched all 6, yeah.
You're such a lucky man.
Yeah, am I? Am
Yeah.
I?
Yes.
Okay.
Because of all the rankings we've done, Rich, this is the one I found the hardest.
Is it? Okay. For me, there's a standout worst, and there's a standout best, and the others all are all right. The rest are all right.
For me, there's a standout worst,
Yeah.
and then there's a standout best.
Okay.
And when I say there's a standout best, I mean all the rest.
Oh, this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, So your history of Mission Impossible is very different to mine, it seems. Yours is the first one put you off.
Yeah, I was 15. I distinctly remember watching it at the cinema. The bit where the helicopter crashes into the tunnel and nearly chops Tom Cruise's head off, but stops just in front of his face. And I was like, this is shit.
We're getting to it.
As a 15-year-old. But
yeah.
25 years later, I kind of quite enjoyed it.
Yes. It's a very... Again, we'll get into the first one. Dave, calm down. Calm down. I've seen all these on cinema apart from the first one.
Oh, right, okay.
I think I was too young.
Oh, okay.
I think that was a VHS rental job, was Mission Impossible 1. I have big memories of going to see the second one with lots of school friends, because we always had to make a trip to Harlow back in those days because it didn't have a local cinema in my town.
Was it disappointing then, or...?
Well, I bought the soundtrack.
Okay, all right.
So we'll get into that.
That's the Limp Bizkit soundtrack, isn't
Limp
it?
Bizkit, Metallica, Uncle Cracker. Who else is on there? There's someone else on there. But the Limp Bizkit song was amazing. But I thoroughly enjoyed all of these films. I think out all the franchises that are going at the moment, it's my favourite. I've been lucky enough to go to 2 press screenings of Rogue Nation and Fallout of these in the last few years. So
I think my brother-in-law worked on Fallout.
Well, your
in
brother-in-law
New Zealand.
is
Yeah.
a legend. Wow, what a great job he has.
Yeah, he does have a great job.
Not remotely jealous. So shall we start? We're going to go
I think we
worst to
should,
best?
Yeah, let's go worst to best. So there's 6.
There's 6.
But it gets confusing because it's Mission Impossible, Mission Impossible 2, Mission Impossible 3, and then not 4. It's Ghost Protocol instead of 4.
And they start naming them, yes.
Yeah, and then Rogue Nation, and then Fallout.
Do you know why they did that?
No, why did they do that?
Is that because at one point Tom Cruise wasn't making much money, and it was kind of like a refresh of the Mission Impossible franchise.
Right, okay.
So there's definitely a difference between the first 3 and the last ones. And
there is, yeah.
Jeremy Renner was brought in
Yeah.
for certain reasons that was meant to happen, but it never did.
Okay.
So we're all.
I mean, they're very much Tom Cruise movies, aren't they? They're very.
They're all
he has
very cool. Yeah.
very tight control over them as well, doesn't he? He's not just the star. He's
producer, executive. Especially what I understand, the last few, he's really, taking grip, and that's why he gets angry. I think we can both agree. What's the worst one, right? Unless you're going to absolutely blindside me straight away.
Oh no. Well, I mean, we could start with that. I was just going to say there are 2 more in the works, though, aren't there? There's a 7 and an 8, isn't there?
7 and 8 coming out. Well, the part 1 and part 2.
Yeah.
So it's kind of one film. But yes, coming out. Day of Reckoning part 1 is 2023, which I understand they're still filming.
Well, they filmed in Leighton Buzzard.
They did, but they did pickups the other day.
Did they?
So
okay.
they're still doing pickups of a film. That worries me. And then part 2 will be, I'm guessing, is
I thought they filmed it all
2024.
at the same time, though, so it could be part 2 then.
Yes, but this is a Tom Cruise movie. I specifically know because I watched Simon Pegg's Instagram live story the other day, and he said, I'd just done some pickups for part 1.
Oh, right, okay.
So
fair enough. Okay, right, let's get back to the ranking. And there's no kind of like anniversary or anything like that. I mean, the original Mission Impossible is 25 years old. 25 years old.
1996.
1996.
95?
So no, it's 25 years old last year. It's 26
Oh,
years
well.
old.
It's around this point.
We can't even shoehorn that in. It's just because I've decided to watch them all because I've not seen them. So
There was a couple of reasons. 1, you decided to watch them all. 2, September is a bone dry month. 3, I'm currently in Canada. Not while we're recording.
No, but
Physically,
when you listeners are listening to this, Dave is in Canada. So we had to do something first. Anyway, So
6.
Worst of the 6 has to be Mission Impossible 2. It's rubbish. It's just not very good, is it?
What were you like coming into this one? Because I'm so intrigued. Because I think one's like an old Espion like spy film. Brian De Palma directed it, and then you get a John Woo, who's one of the godfathers of action kind of.
I mean,
thing.
90% of this movie is Tom Cruise flicking his hair in slow motion, and John Woo's white doves flying off. Like he has in every movie.
Yeah.
It just didn't feel like it didn't feel interesting at any point. Like none of it made me. I found myself when I was watching it. I just found myself just getting annoyed with it. I just wanted it to end so I could get to the next one.
And do you feel like it never was going to end? It keeps going.
Oh my god, it's so long. It's so long. Like again, the criticism I have of like Zack Snyder stuff is it would be like an hour shorter with all that bloody slow mo in it. It's not good. It isn't very good.
There's a lot. Yeah. This is also my worst one.
Okay, well that's good.
And the highlights are the music. I think the Limp Bizkit song is brilliant. I think the Metallica song is great.
I think my highlight's Tandy Newton, but she's a bit wasted.
Everyone's a bit wasted. I don't think the Bad Guys is very good. I think the bits in between the actions are boring.
Yeah.
It's not a good film. But they do use motorbikes instead of knives at one point. That's pretty cool, right?
Well, they use motorbikes like it's like a medieval, like jousting race.
Like a Knight's Tale, yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah.
Do you feel like Do Grey Scott wasn't equal to Ethan Hunt, Tom Cruise's Ethan Hunt? I always had that problem.
I didn't find him as sinister as I think he was meant to be. I think that's the thing. I think Do Grey Scott can be very scary. but I didn't feel that he felt particularly troublesome.
Do you know this is the film why he wasn't Wolverine?
Really?
Because he overran filming for this, so he had to drop out of X-Men, and that's where Hugh Jackman...
Wow.
So thank you for overfilming of this, because Hugh Jackman is Wolverine.
I didn't know that. He's got to be gutted about that.
He is, but then he probably think, no, they probably cast the right person in the end.
Yeah.
And plus, would you want to get built like that every time to be Wolverine? We're going off topic again.
Yeah, true. I was just thinking of the other thing that really annoyed me about this movie is that the very much over-reliance on the masks.
Stupid masks in this one.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I get it. It's a nice gimmick in the first one, and it's, you know, I get that they want to keep doing it, but it was too much in this one. It's like every second person had a bloody mask on.
But that's such a cool beginning, isn't it? When he's hanging off the rocks.
It's a cool beginning, yeah. And
Anthony Hopkins as the head of MI, whatever it's called.
As the secretary or whatever he's called. There are decent shots in it, but I mean, John Woo's just, I don't know. It just seems he's obsessed with the individual shots and not the story.
Or making things look cool than the story. Do you know that originally this cut was like 3.5 hours long? Somewhere out there's a director's cut of an even longer cut of Mission Impossible 2.
God, it's probably just Tom Cruise just taking his sunglasses off over and over again, isn't it? Flicking his hair. No. No.
You wouldn't watch it. This film does have its defenders, and recently, like any sequel that gets panned in the past, it seems things come around and people are now starting to defend Mission Impossible 2.
I'm not sure how you defend it.
But out of the 6, I think it's definitely the weakest.
Oh, yeah. Easily the weakest. Like I said, standout worst, which was easy. This was easy for me to pick as my worst.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I agree with you. I've got nothing else to add apart from in 98. I think it was 98, wasn't it, when it came out?
I think
I did enjoy it. I had a riot with my friends in the cinema. And Ginger, like I said, I bought the soundtrack.
It was 2000 it came out.
Shut up.
2000.
So there must have been a gap between 1 and 2 then.
Yeah, 4 years.
Incredible, that one. And then there was a gap between this one and the third one, if I remember rightly. Like another 3 years, 4 years.
I will check if you like.
Yes, please. But the things that I don't like, the bad guy, Tandy Newton is great in it. I fell in love with her a lot when I first saw this.
Big time. I fell in love with her. This is the first time I've seen it, and yeah, I fell in love with her all over again. 3 was 2006, so 6 years between 2 and 3.
Tom Cruise's hair. This is his vanilla. I feel like it's his Vanilla Sky time. That kind of era. Yeah. When he had
his hair looks wrong though. It looks like a wig. It does look like a wig, doesn't it? Right. No.
I'm glad this era didn't last very long.
Yeah,
out of the Tom Cruise eras. What was your second worst one? What is your
number 5? Is when it gets a bit tricky. So
wait, it gets impossible.
The next 4 are tricky to split, but I've got reasons for why I've done them this way. So my next one is the first one. It's Mission Impossible 1. And I enjoyed it more than I did when I saw it in the cinema. It is still ludicrous.
Which part's the ludicrous?
Well, most of it. Like, it's all completely unbelievable, isn't it?
I think this is the most down-to-earth one.
Really?
This is a Brian De Palma film.
The helicopter crashes into the tunnel.
Yeah.
And the blade stops inches from his nose.
That's just good entertainment, Rich.
I mean, the force alone of the air moved by that blade would have chopped his head off.
Mission Impossible.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Well, I know it's going to be ludicrous. It's fine. I'm more accepting of that in my 40s, it seems, than I was when I was 15. Because, yeah, I didn't like it. I found it all a bit too convenient, I think, was the thing as well. It's like everything just happened to fall into place kind of thing.
This one didn't have the set pieces. This is before it got out of control and mental.
And you know that the sort of spy genre isn't my favourite genre. I'm not a big fan of Bond, or what was the other thing that we watched with Henry Cavill in it and
The Man from
Armie Hammer? Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of that. And this is cleverer than those. At least this has got gimmicks and stuff in it. And I gotta say, Rewatching it, I had a lot more fun. You know,
good.
I enjoyed it a lot more than I thought.
Did you
I was going to.
appreciate the drop from the ceiling sequence with Jean Reno and the
Yeah, I mean,
rat
obviously I've
and
seen that 100 times because, you know, that's
Shrek
recreated
2.
on everything. Yeah, including Shrek 2. Yeah, but yeah. I mean, it's good. It's all right. I think
it's a proper crime film, like spy thriller.
Yeah,
you don't know who to trust. It's a Brian De Palma.
I mean, I think I
noir-y.
did know who to trust. Like, I was pretty convinced I knew who was the. Anyway, yeah.
I was convinced the woman, loved Ethan.
Nah.
Fell in love with her as well. Ving Rhames is great. I'm
Ving
so
Rhames
glad
is great. Yeah, definitely.
He's been in pretty much all of them.
He has been in all of them. Yeah, I've just watched them all. He's definitely been in all of them.
He turns up at the end of 4, doesn't he? He's not actually in 4.
No, he is in 4, definitely.
Okay.
He's definitely in all of them. Definitely.
I know he's in all of them, but he doesn't have a main part.
Yeah. Anyway.
Unlike you, I didn't rewatch these because I'm trying to save them till next year and then have a big. But I've watched these a lot.
Okay, fair enough. So what about you? What's your second worst?
Well, for me, after the worst, this will change daily. But when I wrote these down yesterday, and I have to stick with this, I went for 3.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I think the saving grace of the third film is Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've got 3 a lot higher than you.
That's fine. That's fine.
Mainly because I love a bad guy, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is the best bad guy in any of these movies.
Yes.
He is sinister and
Yep.
evil, and my God, I'm scared of him.
Yeah, terrifying.
He elevates this movie to places it shouldn't be, and for that, he comes a bit higher than.
See, for me, it's the other way around. If it has to be more than just Philip Seymour Hoffman, and he is, like you said, he is the best bad guy. He does elevate that film.
Oh, for me, because
without him,
yeah,
that film would just be okay. I think
you're right.
It's got some good set pieces. It's got the bit at the bridge. It's got the chase through the Thai village at the end. It's all good.
Yeah. I think the reason
got swinging across Shanghai. Nice.
Yeah. Agreed. But I think Philip Seymour Hoffman makes this movie better, and in doing so, makes everyone else better. So
I appreciate that.
So, like, Ethan Hunt's love story is more important because of Philip Seymour Hoffman's character. Like, you're right. If it didn't have that, then the love story would be a bit meh, blah. But because he's so fucking evil and such a threat, that love story is important.
Yeah.
And
imagine that Philip Seymour Hoffman character as the bad guy in the last few films. Even though Sean Harris is really sinister, but Hoffman was next level. I believe this man will shoot me in the face at any point. He's
no.
Off the
I don't believe he'll shoot you in the face. I believe he'll shoot everyone you care about in the face and make you watch. That's what I think he will torture you. And so you put that second last.
Yeah, but let me reiterate, Rich. Really bad. Rest. I could just put them all at number 1.
Right. Okay.
So I've really had to. I think.
Yeah.
And try and give you some reasons. And you've convinced me not to put it there, but I will have to keep it there because my one after that is the first one. And just because I think the first one is a great first film, I like how, especially 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 and 6 are kind of the same directors, so they kind of film the same, even though they're not meant to. They do look, sound, act differently to each other. Like the difference between 1 and 2 is insanely different.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like completely polar opposite. So 1 at the time, I think it's smart. I think it's really clever. I think it does a brave thing of they get all these famous people at the beginning and then just completely wipes them out. Like from point zero. You think, these are going to be the people that stick with Ethan Hunt. No, they're not.
No, they're not. Yeah.
I think that's really good. And then he has to go around getting these ragtag bunch of, bad people. Jean Reno is brilliant in his part. Even Jean Vault as that character is good. I like the set piece in the train. I like the set piece getting the knock, whatever it is, the the thing in the CIA headquarters, wherever it
the
was.
knock list, yeah.
I think these are all brilliant. I love the scene when he throws the thing against the glass of the water tank. Who that guy is coming back in Day of Reckoning in part 1 and 2. I just think it's a really solid film. I think getting Brian De Palma as a director was a brave choice, and I think that wouldn't happen nowadays. So, and I think that kind of it was really smart, really clever.
Something to be celebrated about this franchise is how much respect and knowledge of the movies that have happened go into the next one. You know, like it's not like some franchises where it will be like we talked about the DC universe, where it just ignores the previous movies, like just completely like it's like they never happened. Whereas this one, it always feels like there's a link to the last one. It's always like they all know the last one happened. You know, that's
yeah.
There does seem to be some learning from one movie to the next. You know, I think that's very clever and very kind of obviously Tom Cruise's kind of control of making sure that happens.
Yeah, I also think the difference between Tom Cruise in number 1 to Tom Cruise in number 6, Ethan Hunt, is a very different Ethan Hunt. You can clearly tell he's quite naive in the first one, and then by the last one, he's...
I also like the fact that he's not perfect and he does make mistakes.
Absolutely.
You know, there are things that happen by accident and there are things that he doesn't mean to do that move the story along. You know, that's... Yeah. So yours goes 2-3-1.
2-3-1.
Okay. So my third from the bottom is Ghost Protocol.
4.
Yeah. And only really because I found myself kind of drifting off a bit in the middle. Right. I don't think it's bad. I definitely don't think it's bad. I think it was an enjoyable kind of action movie, but I just kind of drifted off a bit. Like I kind of lost it a little. It didn't keep me like fixated on it like some of the others did.
It lacks a bad guy.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? And that's probably me like talking about. I like a good bad guy, don't I? So yeah, it does kind of it does lack the baddie.
But for me, this 4 is where it suddenly they just turn it up a notch of the action stakes, and it's where Mission Impossible's now where it's gone. It's kind of like, for me, not quite to the extent, but where Fast 5 suddenly just went into a different notch.
Yeah, I get that.
And we're gonna do some proper crazy stunts. We're gonna put Tom Cruise on the actual side of the tallest building in the world, and that whole sequence and scene is literally terrifying because he's so high up. And knowing Tom Cruise, he was actually stuck to the window.
He probably was. I mean, that the Burj Khalifa stuff is really, really good. And don't get me wrong, I think that is great. And I don't know, I
like the introduction to the characters. Yeah. I like the use that they moved Simon Pegg's character Benji from out behind the desk. He wanted to be an agent. He is an agent. The Jeremy Renner character has always been interesting because he was initially put into these films to take over from Tom Cruise at a point where they thought Tom Cruise would hand over the reins of Mission Impossible. Originally, when Mission Impossible 4 was getting mentioned, that Tom Cruise wasn't even going to be in it. He had a slight falling out with Paramount. They were talking about other actors. I remember Brad Pitt's name being thrown around a lot. And in the end, they landed, because this is when Jeremy Renner won an Oscar for Hurt Locker. He was very hot at this point.
It's 2011.
Yeah, 2011, 2012. He suddenly put himself in a lot of franchises. Obviously, the Bourne Legacy, what we spoke about last week.
2 weeks ago.
He was still hot right now. So he originally was meant to overtake from, but then Tom Cruise. This is where I think Cruise found his second wind, not in just these films, but his acting as well, and his aim of what films he wanted to make. Because from this point, they've literally been mental from onwards. I mean, you had the Jack Reachers, or pretty crazy fighting scenes. The only acting one I can think of that he's done since this film was probably American Made.
Yeah.
And he stepped away from the Magnolias and like that. And I'd love to see him in those kind of films again, because the man can act. but he seems to now concentrate more of what the audience want from him. And I think Ghost Protocol, you can literally pin on it when he's on the outside of that building. They just thought, fucking hell, we can kind of see Tom Cruise's face and the drop below him, and then he's kind of tapped into that.
Yeah.
For me, this is my next favourite after 1. This is 4.
So that's your number 4, is it?
Basically, for the reasons I'm saying, I think this is when it just turned turbocharged.
So my number 4 is number 3.
I see.
Mission Impossible 3. So we're not too far off.
We're not too far off. But Ving Rhames is very good. Jeremy Renner, I think he's good in this film. I've always enjoyed his character.
Yeah, I think he's all right.
I think that was an interesting thing to do.
If he's a baddie or not. Are you like?
Yeah, exactly. Which kind of makes it is a nod to the first one, like you're saying. There's always nods around. They respect what comes before and stuff like that. I thought it would have been interesting to have Ethan Hunt take a younger person kind of under his wing, and I thought that's what they would have done with Jeremy Renner. But at this point, Jeremy Renner wasn't really young, so I never really understood that either.
No, not as old as Tom Cruise though.
No, but he's now. Jeremy Renner's like 50 in real life now.
Well, yeah.
And Tom Cruise, there's only 10-year difference.
Yeah.
So not as much as there could have been. They could have got a real young whippersnapper in there to hire.
True. What's your number 2? Do you want me to do mine first?
No, do yours and see if it's the same as mine.
So my number 2 is Fallout.
That's what I've got as well.
Good. I think it's good. I think it's really good, Fallout. I just think Rogue Nation's really, really good.
Fallout, I remember I had to review Fallout for Jump Cut online, and I remember it's not as good as Rogue Nation, as you said, because the storyline is a bit more convoluted, and there's bits of it you're like, I can't really understand why certain people are doing there and here and there, and I think Rogue Nation is more streamlined than Fallout. I mean,
I like Henry Cavill in Fallout.
Fallout, a good bad guy. Cavill is really a match for Ethan Hunt. It's like the first physical match we've seen that can actually go toe to toe with him. I think the stunts, the Halo drop, is incredible. I think the helicopter stuff is insane. I remember my review writing, like, how do they come up with the next step of, like, okay, this time we're going to... Because how do you beat Rogue Nation's, I'm going to tie you to a side of a plane and just fly you around for 15 hours? Like, it's incredible. I think... Okay, I don't know where I'm talking about 5 or 6 now. I think the introduction of the Rebecca Ferguson character in 5, I think the use of Sean Harris's really... evil and sinister bad guy is a step up again from 4, not from 3, because Hoffman was just next level.
Yeah.
I think the use of is Baldwin 5 or 6?
Both.
Yeah. The man can deliver dialogue.
Yeah, so he Fallout, he dies, doesn't he? But he's in 6, he's trying to shut them down in 6, and then he becomes the secretary.
5 I like because there's the chemistry between everyone. But I like when Jeremy Renner and Ving Rhames have to go and find Ethan Hunt in Casablanca, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's that chase on motorbikes and cars after the underwater bit.
Yeah, so
like,
this is Rogue Nation. This is Rogue Nation.
Rogue Nation
now,
is just sorry. Rogue Nation is just great scenes after great scenes. You have the Vienna Opera scene, the shootout.
Yeah.
You start with the plane stuff, then you got the underwater stuff, and then you've got the incredible car chase through Casablanca, which is nearly matched for the incredible bike chase through the streets of Paris in Fallout. And if you've been around the streets of Paris and those roads, you know how incredible that scene is because the roads are fucking mental.
True. This is true. So yeah, I mean, so why is Fallout just not quite as good?
Because the story is a little bit more convoluted than 5.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't understand certain reasons why certain characters were doing things. And
I think that 5 has a very clear threat, and Fallout doesn't have that very clear threat until maybe sort of the end.
Fallout, I remember the buyers and sellers of the whatever I'm like, who in the fuck? The bathroom scene, I know is cracking. The whole nightclub, the introduction of Vanessa Kirby's, whatever, White Widow, whatever her name is.
Yeah.
Lovely. Can't wait to see more of that character.
Yeah, I like her.
But 5 is a better film.
Yeah, you're right.
In the end of the day. But not by a lot. Like other days I could change, I flip-flop. But I'm always going to go back to storytelling. And I think the storytelling in Rogue Nation 5 is better than 6. But
I don't have to say anything on this. I knew I wouldn't. I knew I could just wind you up and let you go and you'd be able to talk about these movies.
I think the Mission Impossibles are better than the Bonds, the Bournes. I think they're the best spy franchise out there. And I cannot tell you how excited I am for the next parts. Like, I'm going to be sad when they're all done and dusted. But where are they going to go? What are they going to do? How are they going to top the last 2 films? I can't wrap my head around that. Like, how can you go bigger than Rogue Nation and Fallout?
I mean, obviously, the best action franchise that's ever existed is the Fast and Furious franchise, but
it's better than that.
But I've got a newfound respect, definitely, for Mission Impossible. You know, I was not. If you'd asked me sort of 2 weeks ago, I'd have been like, I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I've not seen any of them. I saw the first one, didn't like it, and I'm not into it. And
they're made purely for fans.
I was wrong.
Purely for fans.
I was wrong.
Good. I'm glad.
Good movies in here,
and you can see why Tom Cruise got a little bit angry last year during the whole COVID pandemic protocols when there's that league of him shouting, because this is his film. He isn't a producer, executive producer. He knows how much it will cost to shut down a film of this size is huge. So the pressure on these people to make these films and get them done is massive.
Yeah.
I think I think Maverick and Top Gun Maverick's the best film I've seen in a few years. And I think Tom Cruise.
So like Tom Cruise and John Hughes had a baby.
Still, that'd be brilliant. Is the man, and I like what he puts on for the audience. The foot chases in these films are just incredible. The one in Fallout when he's
definitely
he's running
puts
through
his
London,
body on the line, doesn't he?
where he broke his ankle and stuff. I'm not going to be running around like that at 60 or whatever it is, 55.
No,
I can't run around like it now. I'm in my mid-30s.
I can't do that. I can't do at 40 what Tom Cruise can do.
I couldn't do it at 20.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right.
What about you? Where do your feelings land for?
I mean,
know
there's nothing for me to say, Dave. You've said everything. I'm with you. I think Rogue Nation is the best of the 3, and it's a clear standout best, I think, for me. But I think in terms of best performance in the whole thing, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman in 3. You know,
imagine putting Hoffman in Rogue Nation, and Sean Harris is good because he's very sinister. He's probably the second best bad guy.
Yeah, definitely. But Philip Seymour Hoffman's the next level.
Absolute nutter.
Yeah, just.
So, are you excited for the next ones now?
I am actually. I'll probably go to the cinema and watch them. Whereas I definitely wouldn't have done. Obviously, I've not done that since the mid-90s.
But these are made to be seen now on the biggest screen, like IMAX screens.
Yeah,
I think they film them with IMAX cameras. They're made for cinema screens to sit and like blow your mind.
They're not made for my 32-inch telly that I've got in my office.
Absolutely not. Well, maybe the second one is.
But I still enjoyed it though.
The second one, even that grand opening of
the second one's definitely made for the cinema. The second one's made more for the cinema than all the others, I think, because it's totally throws the story in the bin to have really nice visuals. So,
yeah, because the story is rubbish.
Yeah,
man, I love these films. I think these are amazing, and I can't wait to watch the next one. And they keep delaying it, and it keeps breaking my heart. But like I said earlier, they are still filming them.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of these people like, oh my God, they're still filming this. I know what goes into making a film, and, at least they're trying to make it the best film they can.
Absolutely, yeah.
Kind of thing. I know there's always last minute pickups. So I'm not worried. It's going to be brilliant, but... And the trailers didn't come out too long ago, and that got me excited. And also, we're talking about trailers, the there's a trailer for Mission Impossible Fallout, which has, what's the band in it? Friction. I can't remember the band, but it's one of my favourite trailers that I can't. If I'm going back watching trailers and mentioning best trailers, it's that trailer, the Fallout one. It's fucking great. You should watch it.
Okay. I will go and watch the trailer now.
But I'd love to know what other people's feelings are towards these films.
If you want to let us know where we're wrong, or if you agree with us in our ranking of the Mission Impossible movies, then get in touch with us on social media. We are at Unequal Sequel on Twitter and Instagram, or you can send us an email at unequalsequel@hotmail.com. While you're there, if you like this episode, if you're a big Mission Impossible fan, you just tuned in for this one, go back and listen to all our other episodes. There are loads. They're over 100 now. Go back to listen to those. Especially make sure you listen to the 3 series of interview episodes. And we will be back at the end of this month. The end of this month when you listen to this.
Fingers crossed.
With Series 4. No, we will be.
Fucking
Series 4, the end of this month. We'll be back. So yeah, make sure you join us for that. While you're back listening to all the back episodes, click that little subscribe button and we'll drop into your podcast app of choice whenever there's a new episode, which will be twice weekly again by the end of the month. Amazing, right?
That's when the hard work starts again, yeah. But like Rich said, yeah, send in your rankings from these films. I'd love to know what people feel about them, because I think it'll be very much different from what me and Rich feel. Ours was different. I'll be interested to see where people put number 2, because I'm sure some people will rank it higher.
Do you reckon?
I think people do enjoy that film. Not lots of people, but there'll be someone out there. So yeah, they'll hopefully be read out on our end of month specials. I've got nothing else to say. So anything to say, Rich?
Just that gives a rating if you can. 5 stars, little like, all that kind of stuff.
I jumped in when I just jumped in. I don't normally do that.
It's all right, mate. It's all right.
So it is a take care from me and a bye-bye from him.
Bye!
You know, it's just have a really nice weekend. Maybe go for a bike ride. You know, just get fit. Get out there.
Pleasant.
Yeah. See you next time. Bye.